I didn't earn these bags under my eyes by doing nothing the past few days. I got mine handed to me by the witness for 30 plus hours. So if you guys don't know, a few days ago, Bungie just launched the new Salvation's Edge. The brain rot is really getting to me. Salvation's Edge raid in Destiny 2. There were a bunch of you guys that came over to the Twitch stream. The world's first race was awesome. It was a great time. We didn't win. The team that did win, they absolutely cleared house. They did a great job and nothing but congrats to them. We did, however, manage to achieve something that I think I will be proud of for a very, very long time, if not the rest of my life. So Destiny's obviously been like a big passion project for me for years, even before I was like full time, but when I was still a full time student, I was on double scholarship, still making as much time as I could to play Destiny. Even when Destiny 2 came out, that was my first year of college. And although it's funny looking back on it now, like I there were maybe a couple times where I skipped class to participate in a raid race, and hey, I mean it paid off. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody, but it was something I was really passionate about, whether we won or not. Like the races are always something that I really enjoy, and those are some of my favorite days of the year. And over the past 7 years, every raid that releases since Last Wish, Bungie has associated a day one emblem with being able to complete the raid within 24 hours. They did move that to 48 hours. I forget what raid that was, but I still refer to it as like the day one emblem. And at this point, we have now gone to less than 10 people who have every single day one emblem. And I think it is one of my proudest things ever to say that I am one of those people. I have loved Destiny for such a long time. It's had its ups and downs, but we have become the only fire team, the six people that we played with, have every single emblem, and there are only 8 people in the world with that. And I think that's one of the coolest things ever. Granted, it probably won't really matter in 5 years. Nobody will really care, but that's something that I'm super proud of. And I'm glad that the Light and Darkness saga was able to end and we were able to get every single one. If they had kept it at 24 hours, though, we would not have gotten the most recent one. There was only one team that finished within 24 hours because of the fourth encounter, which is the shape puzzle encounter. Save a rant for that for a different video. And then the witness being not only a damage check, but if you didn't dodge his attacks correctly, instantly dead. It was a hell of a marathon, and I have the video up on my channel if you guys want to go watch the full completion that we did. I might upload a uncut version of our like 30 plus hour marathon somewhere else. I'll leave it in the description or whatever if you want to watch. But yeah, over the years we've had our ups and downs of getting called cheaters and then washed. It's been quite the cycle, quite the journey to go through, and I just couldn't be more proud of the people I've gotten to play with. And one thing I'm also proud of is the Sweatcicle stonks going up with this absolutely juicer new waifu cup that we dropped. If you guys are interested, you can go to gamersupps.gg/sweat. We just launched a 24-ounce shaker. We have a mouse pad with a custom box. I'll leave a picture of the mouse pad here. And then we also have a custom shirt. And now that the Light and Darkness saga is over, we don't really know if we're getting any more raids. I'm just kind of assuming no until they start a new storyline or maybe Destiny 3. That might be some copium. I don't really know quite yet. I don't think really anybody knows. If there are more raid races, however, I will be there and I want to continue to compete for World's First because it's just something that I truly enjoy. Whether we win again or not, I am incredibly proud of our team and will carry those memories forever, to be honest, because it was very life-changing to me. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today without any of the raids that we did extremely well in, especially Last Wish basically kind of being like considered the crown jewel. And I do think the one thing, man, it's so tough because the world's first for this most recent raid actually ended up taking longer than Last Wish by about 10 minutes, which is crazy. The one reason why I like Last Wish better as a day one raid race, though, is just because there's more bosses. So with the new raid, there's like 3 puzzle encounters and 2 bosses versus Last Wish, where you had like 4 bosses and 1 puzzle encounter. And I just feel like you get way more value out of actually using the guns that you're earning in these DLCs to actually check them against bosses versus sitting there trying to play Pictionary with the 40 shapes that you're given in a white room that's flashbanging your eyes for 10 hours straight. But besides that, I do think it's an extremely solid raid, and the Witness boss fight is actually one of the coolest boss fights. I do think like the my favorite part about that whole raid is when you actually go up to damage him, he kind of lifts you up and you actually have to dodge his attacks. You don't just stand still in a well. You actually have to have like be aware of what he's doing, what he's about to do. You have to jump, you have to dodge. Um, but it also comes at a cost that I also wanted to talk about. I did see this chart on Twitter that I wanted to talk about, which kind of upset me with this raid too. It's so difficult because we're fighting like the biggest, baddest enemy, and you have all these different, you have 3 different classes and a bunch of different subclasses to use, and the only one that you could really use on the Witness during contest was a Gold Gun Hunter. It was the only one that made damage actually reasonable without having to optimize every single bullet with no deaths. Because if you didn't use Gold Gun Hunter with the new Cage Sniper Rifle exotic, there was a good chance that you probably weren't even going to get enough damage to kill the boss. And so this chart showed that 63% of the players that cleared contest difficulty of the Salvation's Edge raid were hunters. 30% were warlocks and 7% were titans. And I do think it's really stupid that like you don't really necessarily have an option to use other classes if you want to realistically get it done. I saw so many teams having people swap to hunter at the boss. I was one of those people. We swapped from 222 to like 4, I believe 4 or 5 hunters. I don't remember exactly which, but the point still stands. I really wish more supers and classes would have been more viable for damage, like Thunder Crash or the new Twilight Axe thing. It just felt a little disappointing for that reason, but the boss fight was great. Overall, this was a much better contest experience than Ron. People went from roasting Ron and like even new players were roasting Ron, Root of Nightmares, on how easy it was, to the complete polar opposite, where people were upset that they couldn't complete it, which is, it's kind of a hard medium to balance, but I think it's better for Bungie to favor on the side of people not being able to complete it. It being harder to complete makes it more impactful for the people that do complete it. Even if you didn't complete it, if you made it up to the boss, you should be proud, because it was not an easy raid to get through, especially in 48 hours, because you got to plan for sleep at some point. Not everybody has all 48 hours available. I hope Bungie continues to take this direction with future raids. Hopefully the next one we get will be more boss heavy than puzzle heavy, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens.